in terms of dating, would you object to a man not wanting to date a trans woman?
I feel like there's a lot to that. I feel like for the safety of the trans person, then probably, because if someone was with that trans person and they were together and they found that they were trans and they're like, I don't like this, and then they take the violence out on that person, I feel like in that case, it's probably good for the person to ahead of time not interact, for that to not become a situation to begin with. So if the person is like violent towards trans people.
Let's say they're not.
They're not.
They just don't want to date somebody who's trans.
I feel like.
Do you object to that?
People have their preferences. I feel like that says something about that person, but they're still allowed to have their preferences.
What does it say, Nick? Keep it on Start.
I mean, it kind of says that they probably don't view that person as an actual woman if they're not willing to date them and their preference is women.
Okay. So then, well, let me get everybody's answer on this, but so you would object to a man not wanting to date a trans woman?
Well, I not necessarily object. I'm just saying that if that's the view they have, then it probably says they don't see that person as a woman.
Which means what?
That's just how they see the person.
It says what about the person?
I've already said what it says
Sorry,
about the person.
it interrupted you. I just wanted you to just be able to restate your position.
Well, it says that person does not see that other person as a woman.
Which means what about them? That
it means exactly that.
Do you object to that?
I say that it's probably not the greatest thing that they don't see that person as a woman, but...
What if they don't see them as a female? Do you object to that?
Well, females technically...
They're sex.
Yeah, so... No, I don't object to that.
Okay. So... You were also saying how if somebody was dating somebody and then they found out like down the road that they were trans. So in this scenario that you provided, this is somebody who I assume is very much passing as a trans woman. Do you think, this is sort of a different topic, do you think that there is a duty for trans people to disclose to romantic partners that they're trans?
I don't think there's necessarily a duty, because for that to be a responsibility of them can put them in danger. I mean, they can choose to disclose that if they feel they are safe.
Well, let's talk about the safety thing. Wouldn't it put them in more danger to omit and not disclose their sexual status with a partner who might object to being in some way misled?
I'm so sorry.
I feel like I cannot speak for trans people. I'm not trans. I don't experience their experiences. So
When it comes to the safety thing, you don't object, or you do object. Oh, no, sorry. Oh my God, sorry guys, I'm tongue twisted here. You don't object to a trans person not disclosing their trans status to potential romantic partners for safety reasons.
Yeah, they don't have to. A lot of the times, do
you think people should disclose their
will.
STD status to a partner?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is something that can be transferred to the other person. You can't transfer anything from being trans to another person.
But that's okay. Hold on. Be good faith, though. That's not what I'm arguing. But you would agree that there are certain things that you ought to disclose to a romantic partner.
Yes.
For example, do you think you should disclose if you're in another relationship with somebody?
Yeah.
Well, that's not something you can transmit to somebody, but like
that is something that
ethically
affects both
speaking,
of their lives, like their tangible lives.
Well, let's say, for example, you're dating with the intention of marriage and having children, and this person they're male, they cannot have children.
They can disclose they can't have children. They can do that at some point along the relationship. People who are infertile don't always disclose from the beginning of a date that they are infertile. Sometimes they may, sometimes may not.
Let's say I'm on a first date with somebody and I make it pretty clear to them that, I'm looking for something long-term, I'm looking for something serious, I'm looking for marriage, and I'm looking for kids down the road.
And if the other person doesn't want kids or can't have kids, then it's just a relationship that wouldn't work. They don't have to necessarily let you know they're trans, but they can let you know they don't want to have kids.
Okay, fair enough. So, but you seem to, I mean, to me it seems pretty questionable to not disclose your gender, sex status, or whatever up front.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I personally am not the one to answer these questions. I am
Okay,
not
that's
trans. I
fair
don't
enough.
have that experience. I can't speak for their community.
Okay.
But you can give your own opinion.
In my opinion, I still don't think they have to disclose that they're trans.
So you don't have to give the caveat that you're not a part of their community. Like I'm not going to ask everyone to give a caveat for the reason they're saying what they're saying. Like, I'm allowing you to have an opinion, and I don't need you to like give your credentials for why you have this opinion. Like, I want to listen to you because you're you. Like, I listen to you because you're a human being. Like, you don't have to give your credentials every time you say something.
Here, we're gonna move on. We're gonna go around the table. Would you object to a man not wanting to date a trans woman?
No.
And you could flip the genders here.
Yeah.
A woman not wanting to date a trans man.
Yeah, I'd want to know if they were trans.
Okay.
I wouldn't object.
I would not object.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Would you object to a man or a woman not wanting to date somebody who's trans? Trans man, trans woman?
No.
It's their preference. Let them do what they want.
Yeah, I wouldn't object.
Okay. It sounded like you objected a little bit to that one.
I feel like it's a complex situation.
It's not really. It's just
really
about preference.
Okay.
And that needs to be respected.
Well, do you think men ought to be obliged to date somebody who's trans?
Well, if you don't like the person, you shouldn't have to date them.
Let's say
I'm
you
not
do
saying
like the
they have to
person.
date them.
Let's say they're
Well, if you do like the person, why
Killer
wouldn't
of
you date
Cereal
them?
donated $100. What if you're a trans Ted Bundy? He would disclose his transition but not the
What
fact
the
that he
fuck?
wants you next. Lol, is withholding information considered
Killer of
lying?
Cereal.
What does that Bible have to say?
wait, what does the Bible have to say?
About trans Ted Bundy? That is a good question.
Avoid Ted Bundy at all in any scenario.
Yeah. Murder and the depraved mind. I don't.
Wait,
I have no,
thank
yeah.
you, Killer of Cereal. I'm sorry, you were saying? I think you were saying like, well, if you like the person, then what?
Well, if you like the person, why wouldn't you want to date them? Like, if you like them,
Okay.
they're your preference, why wouldn't you want to date them?
Because they're not the gender,
Well, say
or they're not
yeah.
the sex that you're attracted to.
Like, I can put myself in this scenario. I would personally be disgusted if let's say, just like crazy scenario, I married a trans woman. I had no idea she was trans. She sold herself really, really well,
Lying to you the whole time.
and like hit it super well. And we got married, and I eventually figured it out. Like, I would be absolutely disgusted. Like, that needs to be something that's said. It's like as disgusting to me as having an STD, probably even more so. Like, that needs to be disclosed. And I would say the vast majority of guys out there and women out there would probably feel the same. They would feel violated. They would feel disgusted. Like,
I can't
it's a
trust
very
you.
serious
Can't trust them
personal
anymore.
issue. I can't trust you. Exactly.
And
Like, I understand, like, yeah, this person wants to find somebody else, but like, it's extremely deceptive and hurtful. And you're coming from the point of view, it would hurt the person who is trans, but you also have to consider that the other person is also human, and they want to find somebody for themselves. And it's extremely selfish to hold that information from that other person.
And if I can just say something real quick, I mean, why, as a trans person, if you're proud of being trans, if you, can affirm to yourself that you're trans, why wouldn't you want to disclose that with somebody?
Facts.
You know what I mean? And also, in relation to like, okay, let's say you had herpes, right? Something like that. And sorry. Okay, so let's say you had like herpes or something, right? Why would you not tell that to somebody who you're dating and intend having a relationship with? Because that can also first you have the herpes, you can give it to them, and then that can go down to your children. It's a whole, you know, it has to be disclosed because, you know, if that person really likes you, really truly, and wants to get to know you, that might be something that won't bother them. You know what I mean? But I mean, why would you even want, as a trans person, I can understand why you wouldn't, why would you want to be with somebody who is transphobic in the first place or does not want to date a trans person? Because
It's not
that's not the real
transphobic
you. It's not.
To
but,
not want to date somebody.
well, not like
who's
that, not like
trans.
that. But
Oh, yeah.
that's not, yeah.
That's the language
Right,
they
right,
would
right.
use.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So-
But is that kind of your argument? That it would be transphobic to not want to date somebody who's trans?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Like, I really don't
And that's a
know.
fair answer. You don't have to know.
Okay. Well, okay, so let me ask a couple more clarifying questions. So let's say that this trans woman has a penis. Would that be reason enough for me to not want to date them? I don't want to date whether they're, however they identify, they're a woman, trans woman. I don't want to date someone who has a penis. Is that reason enough?
Maybe, but maybe you should put on your profile that's your preference.
I need to put on my profile that I don't want to date someone who has a penis.
Yeah, you could put in
Can
your
I just
own
say I'm straight?
preference that you don't want to date trans people, and that'll make the other person's decision for them, because then they won't pursue you.
So wait, I need to change my behavior. Like, can't I just say I'm straight? Wouldn't that be sufficient?
I mean, if you're straight and excludes trans people, then it's not just straight for everyone who's a woman. But it
What-
very much
I'm a
so
little
hinges
confused.
on people actually seeing the trans person as what they identify as. If you don't see them as a woman, then like, yeah, technically you're straight, but that's not straight by everyone's definition. So it's kind of will leave
Well-
room for ambiguity because other people will
Well, what
think
is your?
they're an option.
Let me have a little.
Okay,
little
you got it, you got it.
Yeah. What is your definition of straight?
People of opposite gender, which is not sex.
Aristotle is dead donated $100. Damn, that guy is a homophobe. Sure, trans people should disclose that they're trans, but do you really think gay sex is worse than an STD? Dang, dude.
No one said that.
Well, I did.
Nobody's-
I did.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that gay sex
Let's not.
is-
No.
we're-
We're not. Let's not go there.
I don't want to derail the conversation.
Yeah, let's not derail the conversation. But, go ahead.
I would say it's people of opposite gender who are attracted to each other. And
Okay.
cis man and a trans woman are opposite gender. So you could be attracted to each other and still be straight. It is reasonable for someone else to assume just because you say you're straight doesn't exclude trans people.
But you're saying even a trans person who has a penis.
Yeah.
So what if? Okay. So my understanding of what straight is short form slang for heterosexual. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so whether you're heterosexual or homosexual, that seems to point towards sex, not gender. So when we say homosexual, we mean same-sex relationship. So how can it possibly be heterosexual for two males to be romantically or sexually involved?
Well, that hinges on your definition of it being
That is
specifically
the
sex.
definition, though.
But it's not.
But okay, homosexual, two males, heterosexual, male, female.
My definition of it would be by gender.
See, this
It's
actually
a tough
kinda-
one. That's
this-
a tough one for me.
This actually kind of goes into the point that I was gonna make, and I mean this as well as possible. But one of the hallmarks for narcissism is that you have internal issues, you have internal struggles that you are working through, and you expect everybody around you to change to cater to those personal issues. And that can happen it doesn't necessarily mean in the realm of sex and gender. It can also be in the realm of dating. Like if my girlfriend, if I bring something up that I'm having an issue with in the relationship, hey, we're not communicating. Hey, you blew up on me at this. Like when you talk about it, and if she is unwilling to change and is expecting all of the change to come from outside of her to mold to how she wants the world to be, that is textbook narcissistic behavior. So when you ask the rest of the world to cater to the chaos that's going on in your brain, that is textbook narcissism. And I'm not saying that you are evil because you're narcissistic. I'm just saying those people need help, and we need to see those people as someone, they need help. They need our love, they need our care, but we also need to give them truth, because it's not going to get better if we just let them stew in that chaos. And I mean, studies show that. They show that it doesn't get better whenever you have reassignment surgery. It doesn't get better if you reaffirm their requested gender. That stuff does not get better. The only thing that will improve their life is to give them truth and us to fight for them as a human being. Because it's not going to get better if we just allow the rest of the world to try to mold to all of these changing definitions and chaos. It's just not going to help.
Basically, to solve the problem, you always have to, go to the root of the problem. You know what I mean? It's not just like, you can't just let somebody, especially, with the whole gender affirming thing. If somebody just decides to do that, I mean, look at TikTok now. That stuff is so all up in your face that, it would even have me like questioning, am I they, am I he, am I that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then you have to look, deep down, why am I even questioning this in the first place? Maybe there's like other issues that I'm going through that need to get solved. Maybe it's, the way that I was raised. So.
Wait, going around on this, I don't know if I opened this up to the panel. So do you consider it straight for a man to date a trans woman? Is it straight?
I'm not fully opposed to that idea. Like.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
With what?
What she said, like, I'm not fully, because
Well,
if
just
the person
instead of saying you agree, just for everybody here, just state your actual position.
copy, yeah. So I think if the woman presents as a woman initially and the person doesn't see what they have down there, then you're straight. But if they find that out, then obviously things change.
Okay.
I would, as a trans woman.
GMD_Jim donated $100. Brixon, how many Amish are trans?
I mean, there might
it's
be.
It's zero.
Yeah.
Wonder
There could be
why?
some Amish trans.
This super chatter is full of cap. The 42% attempted self-deletion rate does not change after surgery. Williams Institute study is one source.
Yeah. Those are the numbers that I've read.
A lot of studies out there. You were saying? Thank you, GMD. Appreciate it.
I would consider it straight.
Straight.
Yeah.
I would not. What was the question?
Skip.
Well, it's not straight.
Yeah, it's not straight.
Okay. I don't know, like, maybe I'm just thinking of this too simplistically, but like it occurs to me. I don't know, if I saw a dude sucking, I might think, like, I don't know if you can be straight. I'm sorry.